Hi everyone, it's Rebecca here on Mindstone. Happy Labor Day. I'm sure you guys have a lot of things to do here on Labor Day. I hope you had a great weekend and are gearing up for the new school season, the new year. Congratulations if you've actually done everything that you wanted to do over the summer. I know a lot of us have had a lot on their bucket list for the summer. And I figured it wouldn't be a better day to talk about my final step with managing anxiety and depression. So for those of you who don't know, this is the final part to a series. So I basically have trickled down 5 main steps to managing anxiety and depression. Hi, Haley. So I've managed to create a 5-step program to manage anxiety and depression. And so first one was gratitude. So we have that video of gratitude, which I will link at the bottom of this video. Second one is self-care. So self-care, physical, mental, and emotional self-care. The third one was self-love. And then the fourth one is support. So having the correct and beneficial relationships in your life to help hold you accountable for your goals and to keep you on the positive side of the spectrum in terms of your mood and your mental health. And then finally, which is the video that we have today, which is daily action. So I'm sure since it is Labor Day, I'm sure a lot of you, especially if you have kids, have a million things to do today to get your kids prepared. And so when it comes to daily action, it can be particularly challenging for those of us who have bipolar disorder or have anxiety and depression. Typically with people with bipolar disorder like myself, we do encounter a number of obstacles in terms of having things like racing thoughts. We tend to want to accomplish a whole whack of things in a very short amount of time. Sometimes we think about all the things that we want to accomplish all at once. And generally what tends to happen is we usually get overwhelmed. I know in my case, when I get overwhelmed and I start to think too much before I do too much, a lot of the time it makes me discouraged, it makes me overwhelmed, and then I end up either not doing anything at all or doing very, small amount of things, and I'm still not satisfied or appreciative of myself when I do them. So this is one of those things where it almost feels like having a computer. So if you can imagine having a computer open and you have all these tabs open, you can understand why a computer might be, low on memory. It starts to slow down, it can crash, it can shut down. And that tends to happen a lot. Hi, Linda. Thanks so much for joining. That tends to happen a lot with those of us who deal with bipolar anxiety and depression. And for a lot of you at home right now who don't have that condition, you may be feeling that already with all the things that you have on your list to get done. So what do we do, and how do we resist the urge to become overwhelmed with all the tasks that we have going on in our lives? And how do we continue to stay present and focused and productive so that we can get everything that we want to get done and actually start feeling good about ourselves when we do them? So one of the things that I always like to recommend, my therapist has said that too, one of the things that we have to be mindful of is, generally speaking, we usually think that, motivation drives action. And actually, if you were to read, for example, the book Feeling Good, which is it's called Feeling Good, The New Mood Therapy. It's by David Burns. The book has been called The Clinically Proven Drug-Free Treatment of Depression. And what he mentions in his book is that it's actually the other way around. It's actually action that drives motivation. So even if you are to take small acts, usually you actually be able to foster motivation following that small act, which will, of course, fuel more action. And the more action you take, the better you feel, the more productive you are. And it just kind of works in a sort of snowball effect. So one of the ways that I like to get the ball rolling, and again, this is also featured in a number of therapy books, one thing that I like to do is do my bed in the morning. I know that, for example, this week I wasn't feeling particularly afternoon or close to the nighttime. There's a number of reasons why this helps. First of all, it's a great step towards productivity first thing in the morning, which is good. Gets your ball rolling in terms of doing something productive and starting that action. Another thing that really helps is that once you do your bed, First of all, you come home to a clean room, which is another really great feeling. And you're also a lot less likely to go back to your bed and fall back asleep, which a lot of us in depression do. When we're feeling overwhelmed and we've gotten out of bed, a lot of us will actually go back to bed and maybe even stay in bed. So one of the ways that I like to get the ball rolling during the day is to get that bed done in the beginning of the day. Another thing that always helps in terms of taking action is to really streamline those things that you have to do. So a lot of us have a really long list to do. A lot of us repeat this list over in our heads. So one of the ways that I was taught in my therapy program was to streamline those things that you have to do into 3 categories. What I have to do. So these are things that you absolutely have to do, like paperwork, taxes, government. If you're gearing up for the school year, it'll be probably making lunches, putting letters in your kid's knapsack. Maybe it's an agreement or some kind of parent-teacher form that you have to put in their knapsack. So list out the things that you absolutely have to do, then start categorizing the things that you would like to do, things that you actually want to do, like maybe go for a bike ride on a nice hot sunny day, or maybe you want to play a game with your kids, or maybe you want to just read a good book. Write a list of all the things that you want to do, and then all of the things that you would feel good about yourself in doing. And so this category is really great for any kind of long-term goals. I know that for myself, that means working on my book. So that's usually a great category for things that you have ongoing. And so generally speaking, what you want to do if you're feeling particularly unmotivated is just to narrow down 1 to 3 things. So 1 to 3 things doesn't have to be a long list. Again, you don't want to overwhelm yourself. Limit yourself to 1 to 3 things that you absolutely have to do and push yourself to get those things done. You'll notice actually that when you do get the things that you absolutely have to do and have to get done and you get those done, you'll start to feel a lot better, and you might actually go into the what I'd like to do or what I'd want to do category. And that's when you can actually have some fun. You can reward yourself to do something productive that's also fun, and that also makes you feel appreciated and motivated. And then again, like I said, it's just a snowball effect from there. So I know for myself today, I was feeling particularly unmotivated these last couple days. I knew that I had to for sure put in an invoice and do this video for you guys, because I know that of course I have an obligation to my community, and I always have to be putting out videos and keep you guys engaged. So I narrowed myself down to doing my invoice, taking care of my paperwork, and of course doing this video for you. And now I feel a lot better, and I feel a lot more equipped to actually continue being productive and get myself out of that lazy, unmotivated state that usually contributes to falling backwards into further and further depression. So keep in mind, again, this is part of a 5-part series: gratitude, self-care, self-love, support, and daily action. We'll be talking about daily actions a lot further. I'll actually narrow down what a daily action list looks like and how to actually stick to it and stay accountable for it so that you can actually keep that motivation flowing and again, prevent you from falling backwards into a depression. So like I said, gratitude, self-care, self-love, support, and daily action. Today we're talking about daily action. Once again, remember that action does drive motivation. It's not the other way around like we think. So don't wait for motivation. Take those steps now. Take those small acts and get them done now. You'll be amazed how much better you feel once you get even 1 or 2 things done. Next thing you know, you may even get 5 or 6 things done just from that drive that comes from taking action. So I hope that you manage your long list of things to do for this Labor Day. I hope you have an amazing new year, amazing new school year. I hope that you are productive and that you are getting everything that you want done. And make sure you reward yourself, pat yourself on the back. There's nothing more motivating than a self-reward for a nice hard day's work. So keep motivated, keep loving yourself, keep loving your life. And once again, thank you so much for staying tuned in to Mindstone. All the best.